In the headlines, delinquency could put a new loan facility at 8 Bank beyond the reach of some farmers and hoteliers. Local manufacturers to upgrade product quality with an eye on external markets, and the OECS planning a trade mission to Cuba later this year. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. Details after this. We begin with farmers and hoteliers interested in accessing government special loan facilities at the 8 Bank who have been warned that current delinquency would disqualify them. Idona John Baptist explains.
The Agricultural, Industrial and Development Bank is preparing to disburse 10 million EC dollars to farmers and $15 million to hoteliers, a move which is expected to boost the agriculture and tourism industries, the country's main economic growth sectors. Government is making these funds available through its Citizenship by Investment program. 8 Bank officials are currently on an education drive ahead of the loan disbursement. They met with the media on Thursday to explain the terms and conditions of those loans.
There must be no existing arrears. In other words, if you have a loan here at this bank in arrears, there must be no existing arrears unless an arrangement has been made with the bank. And that is important. Let's understand that. If you owe this bank money and you're in arrears, unless you make an acceptable arrangement with the bank, you may not be eligible for it. So if you owe 8 Bank money 5 years ago and you want to access those funds, you're going to come back here and talk to these people in credit and make arrangements, satisfactory arrangements with it.
8 Bank will on-lend these loans at a 3% interest rate. Corbett says loans will not be granted for refinancing other loans.
As it relates to agriculture, we have received several inquiries, close to more than 50 inquiries, and applications. We are currently pursuing some applications. So the process has commenced, and we're going through as I said, the issues. We're working with Ms. Bethel, so she's visiting the farm. Also the Ministry of Agriculture, we're working closely with them. We have reduced the process to gain access to the funds, and we also reduced as I said, the security. As long as they've gone through the process, then the funds are available. We will start the disbursement. We haven't actually disbursed any funds yet. But as long as they've gone through, you do appraisal and you approve, the managers approve, and then that's it, you disburse. Okay.
On to trade now, where Dominica is taking steps to ensure that the quality of its products does not hamper its presence in some external markets. Here is Andrea Louis with more.
Director of Trade Mathan Walter made the disclosure when addressing the opening of a 2-day workshop on good manufacturing principles on Thursday. Walter says government is putting measures in place to ensure a favorable trade environment for locally manufactured goods and products.
Issues of quality hampered the continued success and proliferation of goods or products in some of our external markets. Therefore, presently, with monies granted from the Caribbean Development Bank, we are implementing a project geared at enhancing Dominica's trading environment and export capacity. One of the consultancies under this project is premised on the upgrade of food safety standards and management system of select enterprises. 10 companies with export potential were selected to participate in this activity with the assistance and collaboration of the Dominica Bureau of Standards. It has so far been established, after visits to each company, that adoption and maintenance of good manufacturing practices is the best way forward for preparing those companies for the export markets.
The workshop aims to provide manufacturers with techniques on how to improve their quality to meet market demand.
Our expectation is that you will be able to leave here with practical solutions to implement in your plant that will allow you to scale up your operations, cost-effective solutions that will allow you to improve your quality, your production processes, to improve the food safety of the products that you produce, and to ensure that you can have sustainability in the markets in which you are targeting.
Stakeholders in the industry were reminded of the important role they play in the value chain.
So, on the one end, capacity is being built within agricultural ministries and farmers to develop their capacity to produce better raw materials so that you can use in your production process. But at the same time, you have to have the capacity as well to ensure that there is consistency in the quality along the value chain.
Manufacturers were advised that good manufacturing practices, when enforced, will ensure good quality products. They were also called upon to be accountable for their goods.
Those products, therefore, will be of high quality and will not pose any risk to consumers or the public. That's very important. Such practices would include maintenance of a clean and hygienic manufacturing area, control and documentation of manufacturing processes, putting in place a system for recalling any batch of products from sale or supply. So we're talking about the issues of traceability, and ensuring that the distribution of food minimizes any risks to their quality.
The two-day workshop on good manufacturing principles is being organized by the OECS Competitive Business Unit. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Meantime, the OECS will be looking to establish a secure trading system with Cuba come October. Acting head of the OECS Competitive Business Unit says in early October, the OECS Commission will be mounting a business mission to the Spanish-speaking country in hopes of extending its markets across the region.
This business mission is a diplomatic mission, so the Director General himself will be traveling with us to Cuba for us to be able to see how it is we can do business more and more with Cuba. What we are interested in is the private sector businesses, both importers and exporters, so there are opportunities for you to source raw materials, create linkages, as well as looking for opportunities to export your products. A few weeks after, in early November, we'll also be back in Cuba, visiting the international trade fair called FIHAV. Last year, we did support a few SMEs to go to that trade show, and we will be supporting a minimum of 10 SMEs from across the OECS region to attend that trade fair.
Marie says the organization is also trying to access European markets.
We are looking at the European market more and more, and with the introduction of Martinique as an associate member state for the OECS, it is important that we look at the requirements for entering these markets. In recent times, over the last 12 months, we have had business missions to Martinique, and Martinicans have also come across to us to find out what are the entry requirements, if there are opportunities for partnerships. So there are opportunities for you.
Manufacturers within the OECS are being ensured that funding for various projects has been secured despite the Brexit.
In recent times, we have heard of the European Union and their discussions around Brexit with the United Kingdom. And there are many discussions as to the funding agencies and the opportunities that we will have going forward. Let me just say to you that we have already negotiated the 11th EDF, that's the next round of funding, so we will get additional funding going forward in the future, but we must be appreciative of what we have now. So these opportunities, we encourage the SMEs to take a serious look at them.
Prime Minister Skerrit has assured the people of Petit Savan that what appears to be a delay in the payment of their monthly displacement allowance has been sorted out. While addressing a concern by a Petit Savan man that he had not received the displacement allowance recently, Skerrit said it was as a result of some administrative issues, but he said the funds should have been dispersed this week.
Because just today they got the check for August of this year to January of 2017. You understand? So there was some administrative issue. But that matter, you should get that money. Those of you who have got money for July, get money back tomorrow for sure.
In police news, two Miniers 7-Eleven burglars are now on remand at the Stock Farm prison after Magistrate Pearl Williams upheld an application by the prosecution requesting that bail be denied. Darrell Humphreys and Augustus Harris, both of Foncolé, were arrested Monday and charged with burglary and intent to steal at Miniers 7-Eleven in Canefield. Meanwhile, the man killed in a road accident in Concord on Wednesday afternoon has been identified by police as Herbertville Boyd of St. C. The 73-year-old was reportedly struck by a public service vehicle driven by Mattis Joseph of Bence. Coming up, Pitit-Savan's school children and their recovery from the impact of Tropical Storm Erica. Thanks for staying with us. Deregistered businesses who fail to return their VAT certificate when requested may be fined. Speaking with Channel 5 News Assistant Comptroller of Inland Revenue Department, Ian Michael Anthony says, once the business is deregistered, the certificate needs to be returned.
Because when we registered, we issued the certificate. That certificate was the indicator to the consumer that this person could charge them VAT. Now they can no longer charge VAT, they will have to give up the certificate. There can be repercussions. I don't recall offhand, but there might be some kind of penalty that can be applied. Apart from that too as well, we will publish a new list at some point in time from in September of the persons who are VAT registered, so that consumers will know that these persons are allowed to charge them VAT. But at the end of the day, in fact, the certificate itself says that it is the property of the comptroller and it has to be returned upon request. Yeah.
Anthony says the more people registered in the system means more work in administering the value-added tax itself.
With a system like the VAT system, you will never find that everybody is going to be registered and charging the VAT. So there has to be some kind of cutoff point. It just so happens now to be $250,000. Quick history for the VAT, that threshold started at $60,000, then it went to $120,000, kept at $60,000 for some services, now $250,000 for everybody. So you will always find there's some kind of benchmark, because what it is that if you have everybody registered in the system, it makes it more difficult from an administrative point of view. So let's suppose, for example, at 120,000 threshold, let's say we have 2,000 people registered, just for argument's sake, and we say now it's 250 and it's now 1,000. It makes it easier because this is a tax collected on behalf of the government by the registered people.
Raising the threshold has no real negative impact on the deregistered companies.
Those businesses that are deregistered are no longer authorized by law to charge the VAT. That's what it means in a nutshell, that they were registered before, we've now deregistered them, and so they cannot charge VAT. It means for us as a tax administration that we have a few less taxpayers to deal with, at least when the VAT is concerned.
Pitit-Savan Primary School will continue to be a focus of interest for education authorities in view of the lingering psychological impact of Tropical Storm Erica. The school continues to operate at the Bath Estate campus.
We have ensured that the school is the building, the plant itself is ready for the students. They have more space now, as you said, as Newton has moved to the new location. Well, they have moved to the new location quite a few months back now. But it will give the teachers and the students a lot more breathing space in terms of getting back to regularity in terms of the hours and in terms of the space that they have to ensure that the students learn. So for instance, recently they embarked on a library, and I think it will augur well in terms of the development in literacy.
Based on the Ministry of Education's investigations, students' academic performance remains high.
One of the things is that we have ensured that we provide as much support as we can to the students, bearing in mind the difficulty that they experienced a year ago. And the Ministry of Education, we redouble our supervision and support to the school. We recognize that one of the things I must inform you that we have not seen any difference in terms of their performance so far based on the events. We will be closely monitoring the results of the national assessment, which will be due during the course of this term. We normally do national assessment in October, so we'll be monitoring the results island-wide to see if there is any variation in terms of performance that could be attributed to any other factor. But so far from our anecdotal data, we have not seen any significant difference in terms of performance of the students, at least from the school-related exams.
Since Tropical Storm Erica has rendered Pitit-Savan unsafe, the Pitit-Savan Primary School building has not been in use. A plea has been made by one individual who is currently struggling to assist the underprivileged children in the Silver Lake district. Director of Love One Teach One Foundation, Inc., Gloria Walsh, says empowering the unfortunate has been her job for the last 15 years, but it has never been easy.
I think what I would like to really say to the institutions out there, to really assist in organizations like ourselves, because it's not easy. Most of the time it's volunteer work, and most of the time we have to be using our own money for the children, and asking for different sponsors to see how things, to empower the children. So if, when possible, anyhow, any means necessary, they can assist us. Not me alone, I'm not speaking of me alone, I'm speaking of other institutions that are doing the same work, similar like mine. So if the ones they can give, please reach out to us. Just finished our annual school supplies giveaway, where we gave out at least over 90 plus children bags, school supplies. And we had sponsors from the States, a few Dominicans assisting in that venture.
Walt says there are children as young as 3 years old enrolled in the program. She wants to reach out to children in other communities.
For now, we don't have any assistance re the government, especially for subvention, acquiring a subvention. But we are trying to work out things to see if, we can succeed sometime, maybe this year.
That's news. Your sports highlights next. First up in sports, President of Top Glove Boxing Club, Job Joseph, is concerned about statements made by Dominican Boxing Association Treasurer Philip White regarding matters pertaining to the sport. White made those statements on off-the-field program on DBS recently. However, Joseph wanted to set the record straight.
He also went on saying there are 6 boxers registered for 2016 December in Barbados for the Caribbean Games. This is very amazing. Being the coach of the most boxers on the island and having no knowledge of this event, having no knowledge of the 6 boxers, I would like Mr. White to tell the public who is the 6 boxers. Maybe they are boxers from overseas who are representing Dominica, I don't know. But for now, there is no boxers of my club or any other club in Dominica that we know that registered for this event.
Meantime, Channel 5 Sports spoke with Philip White, who says the number of boxers is a proposed figure that must be submitted to the relevant authorities ahead of any competition. Meanwhile, Joseph believes Dominican boxer Valerian Spicer was a better suited candidate for the Rio Olympic Games than Thea Lafont, the triple jumper.
Ms. Valerie Spencer is a boxer of Dominican parentage who went to Olympics qualification for our beautiful country, Dominica, and was not successful. But we never get the right information why. Ms. Spencer never get the opportunity as the other countries to be representative with a letter from the Dominica Boxing Association. The woman that was chosen for the spot for the Olympics have a less record than Miss Spencer. Miss Spencer's record is much better than hers. But because there was no representation from the association, she lost the spot.
The Dominica Olympic Committee chose Thea Lafont in light of gender equality to compete at the 2016 Olympic Games in the triple jump event. Since the only qualifier for Dominica was Yordanis Garcia, a country was allowed to have an unqualified athlete of the opposite sex taking part. On the cricket scene, England defeated Pakistan by 4 wickets with 12 balls remaining in their one-day international to lead the 5-match series 4-0 on Thursday. Pakistan took first to knock and scored 247 for 8. Azad Ali top-scored with 80 and Amal Wasim assisted with 57. England replied with 252 for 6 in 48 overs. Ben Stokes struck 69, Johnny Bristow 61 and Moeen Ali 45 to help England seal the win. The series continues on Sunday. And action resumes in the Dominica Football Association's Premier League with 5 games this weekend. DFA PRO Gerald George has more.
On Friday, Sajiko's office will go in search of victory number 2 when they take on Petro Caribe Point Michel at the Dubla playing field from 6 p.m. On Saturday, Baffin State Football Club and the Wacky Rollers will also be looking for their second victory when they battle each other in the first match of a doubleheader at the Dubla playing field from 3 p.m. Then at 5 p.m., defending champions Dubla Football Club and RIC Kensborough will look to bounce back from last weekend's defeat when they clash with each other. On Sunday, Caribbean Coal Harlem United will go in search of their second straight win when they come up against Midland United at the Dubla playing field, while at the Benjamin Park, Exodus Football Club will also be looking to make it 2 wins in as many matches when they take on Northern Concrete and Steel Bombers. Both matches begin at 4 p.m.
On to court sports now, where Portsmouth Breakers defeated CT Kings 3-0 in Game 1 of the men's second division finals of the National Volleyball League on Wednesday. Breakers had game scores 25-20, 25-21, 22-25, 18-25, and 4-15. Meantime, in another match, Posse Breakers defeated KT Ballers 3-0. That's all the sporting highlights for now. Be sure to join us tomorrow. Coming up, your weather forecast.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am your presenter, Annika Joseph. We start off this evening by taking a look at some earlier satellite imagery, and what it showed is this area of cloudiness and convection associated with a tropical wave currently affecting the southern portion of the island chain. Visible satellite imagery showed cloudy skies with pockets of thunderstorm cells over Dominica during the course of today. Radar imagery indicated shower and thunderstorm activity over Dominica during the afternoon and also over the islands to the south. Conditions for tonight: partly cloudy to cloudy with scattered showers and possible thunderstorm activity. Tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers. Sea conditions: moderate in open water with waves up to 7 feet. A further increase to peak near 8 feet is expected over the weekend. The extended forecast: again tomorrow, Friday, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers. A tropical wave expected to move across the area on Saturday into Sunday, will result in cloudy skies on Saturday with scattered showers and possible thunderstorm activity. On Sunday, cloudy to overcast skies with showers and thunderstorm activity. Occasionally gusty winds can be expected over the weekend. Across the region tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers can be expected. On the international scene, clear skies in New York and Beijing, partly cloudy skies in Miami, overcast skies in London, and some thunderstorm activity in Caracas. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:53 a.m. and set at 6:17 p.m. For up-to-date information, log on to our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and join us next time. Good night.
To end the news, a recap of the headlines. Delinquency could put a new loan facility at 8 Bank beyond the reach of some farmers and hoteliers. Loan manufacturers to upgrade product quality with an eye on external markets, and the OECS planning a trade mission to Cuba later this year. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNewsSeptember1st2k16. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Kenny Williams. To our viewers around the world, we thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.